Hi guys, welcome back to Z's Corner. This is Al. So today I wanted to revisit station defense again. In my first video, if you recall, we looked at defending the station with 5 docks. And even though with the current patch that they just released, you can now purchase a dry dock G, there are still some people out there with less than 5 docks. So we're going to look at having 4 docks and how to really defend with 4 docks. Anyway, so I've got the ship hit order for station defense pulled up again as a refresher. I kind of wanted to go through this and just kind of speak to it in a different light, because some of you gave me in my comments from the first video that kind of talking for the perspective defender was a little bit confusing. So we'll kind of switch gears and talk from the perspective of the attacker. So basically, if you're attacking, the first thing that gets destroyed is everything that's, with the triangle for you. So if, let's say if I'm attacking with an Explorer, then the first ship up that's going to get hit is going to be the lowest powered interceptor. And then the second type of ship that's going to get, so after you destroy all the interceptors, let's say, they have a low powered one and then a higher power interceptor. After the interceptors are destroyed, then comes all the neutral ships. So if you're attacking an Explorer again, it's going to be all the other enemy Explorers that are in station. And again, it's going to be from ascending power, so lowest power ones first up to higher power ones. Note there's also like a by grade type comment in here, but this really doesn't come into play too much. Very rarely does it come in play when you have a G4 Jelly that's lower power than your G3 Enterprise. Then it comes into play then. So because the Enterprise will then get hit first, even though it's higher power, but it's not too often. But anyway, so after the neutral triangle ships are destroyed, then you're going to go attack all the ships that are against the triangle. And for our example, if it's an Explorer, then you're going to be fighting battleships. And again, in that ascending power, so lowest power first, going to higher power by grade. And then fourth of all is going to be all the survey ships that are going to be hit before you move on to the defense platforms. So that's kind of a quick refresher on the ship hit order. And with that, let's kind of look at some of the battle logs. All right, so Kung Fu Turtle did the testing with me today. Thank you, Kung Fu Turtle, for all the hard work that you put in. We did a lot of different tests because I was really trying to see if he could do better against the Coronar. And I mean, we did 10 different tests with the Coronar, and I think the Coronar is a bit too big for Kung Fu Turtle's station at Ops 35. Basically, it's just, his defense platforms just don't deal near enough damage to me. So anyway, I've got, on my crew here, I've got my default crew on. I've got 5 with 7 and HG Warp. This really helps me mitigate a lot over time because I can't really clear all those docks out in the first round or two. So I kind of need all that mitigation from 5 and 7 combo. So this has worked really well for me. It's my typical crew that I use when I try and go clear out full docks. So again, Kung Fu Turtle, he's got, his defense platforms are all, I think 35, and then he also has all his research up to date for his ops level. So this is kind of the first test that we did. He got his default station defense crew on here, and we'll kind of look at his crews real quick. So first up is the Saladin, and for the Saladin, Kung Fu Turtle's got Officer 0718 here as captain, so he gets increased chances of critical hit when defending. He also has a small benefit to all the defenses of the officers on the ship. He's got Mitchell on the side. Mitchell does plus 40% of damage for 1 round when hit by a critical hit. Now he's got Mbenga. Mbenga here does plus 40% to dodge, armor, and shield deflection when defending the station. So next up is Carol, and Carol, when captain, does negative 40% to opponent damage when defending, and she also increases your own weapon damage. And also note you got Kurg and Spock on the side to kind of replenish the Braille shields when it gets depleted. So now it's the Augur's turn. The Kung Fu Turtles has Kumak captain on the Augur, so he does increase officer stats per round. And then for officer abilities, basically plus 80% to all mitigation when the opponent is burning. On the side, he's got Giorgio to proc the burning and Livis to kind of increase the whole health on the Augur. So last but not least, he's got Harrison captain on the Bortaz. When Harrison is captain, he does increased damage plus 20% in this case against Explorers, which the Coronar is an Explorer. And then he's got 60% shield ignore because it's a T1 Harrison. In addition to that, he's got Khan on the side, in addition to HG War for even more critical hit procs. All right, so overall, you can see he got through only a little bit of my shields. He actually ended up doing decent hull damage, I guess, 14 million. So he did about 3 million hull damage to me, and we'll look at the battle log real quick on this one. You see right off the bat that it went for 7 rounds. His officers are proccing right here. All right, so right off the bat, you see kind of the issue is really that his defense platforms aren't really doing enough damage. They're about 100-something thousand damage each, and he's only got 4 of them, so they're not really going to do enough damage to my coroner when I've got, you know, like 17, 18 million in hull health. In addition, he didn't have TOS O'Hara on any of his ships, so I'm going to take out the ships pretty fast with the coroner and my critical hits. So you can see, you know, right off the bat, my first few shots, the Saladin's already destroyed. So we'll keep going. Note the defense platform critical hits are only about 230,000 damage as well. So very small defense platforms when going up against a G4 rare. Okay, so we're on to round 2. And right here you see I deplete the shields on the Brel. I'm not sure. Yeah, so Brown never really gets a chance to recharge shields at all, and he gets destroyed with a few hits from my coroner. Round 3. So right here, I'm hitting the Bortas. So the Bortas actually survived, which is nice. The Bortas gets destroyed in the following round, round 3. And then the Augur actually gets destroyed in the same round as well. So I was wrong about that. Actually, it was round 4, not round 3. So now I'm just on to defense platforms, and it's going to end pretty quick here. All right, so now we're looking at a different battle log. You see, overall, he does about the same in terms of hull damage in this one, but he did get through a lot more of my shields. Whereas in the first battle log, I still had 10 million shield left. Now I'm down to 6 million. And then we kind of switched up his crews and his ships in here. I did throw in the Baby Jelly because one of the things with the Baby Jelly is that it's got a really good ship ability. When max, and this is a max Baby Jelly, when max the Baby Jelly's ship ability is to give a 70% boost to the captain ability. So when paired with Yuki, that's a pretty decent boost there for her, and helps you kind of eat through shields faster. The only kind of problem with this setup was that Kempo Turtle didn't really have, I guess, too many small explorers. So the issue was really around the Baby Jelly getting killed too fast, and we can see that in the battle log in a bit. But let's go over kind of the crews first. So on the Saladin, we've got the Pike, Morale, Harrison. This is so that Harrison can go to basically 100% shield ignore for the first round, and all that damage can go straight to my hull. All right, so onto the crew for the Baby Jelly. Here we went with Yuki with full synergy, or as full as it could get, because I didn't have Harrison available. Harrison, as if you remember, was on the Saladin with the Pike crew. So here we get max about 17% synergy. In addition, remember that this does a 70% bonus to the Yuki shield strip captain ability. So this can strip shields pretty fast. So onto the Augur. The Augur has TOS O'Hara captain with TOS Kirk and TOS Spock on the side. Basically, it's just forever preventing me from getting critical hits. Now, in hindsight, TOS Spock is actually probably not necessary here because he also requires morale to proc. Originally, I was thinking if TOS O'Hara didn't proc, but she would only not proc if I didn't get morale. So if I didn't get morale, then TOS Spock wouldn't proc either, so he was kind of redundant in this case. I could have probably substituted TOS Spock or some other officer here to get kind of marginal more benefit in this case. So, oh wow, it's hindsight's always 20/20, you know. So on the Bortas here, we've got Carol captain. Again, when Carol's captain, she reduces enemy weapons damage, and then Saru's officer abilities to reduce enemy weapon damage as well. And we kept Mitchell on the side for the synergy that he gets with Carol. All right, so here's the battle log. It only went 6 rounds this time, and I think one of the biggest reasons is because the Jelly. So you see right off the bat, the Saladin gets destroyed again, and then the jellyfish gets destroyed in round 1. And this is kind of the ship hit order that I had issues with. I probably should have asked him to put on an even smaller explore like a Turos or something, just kind of soak it up before before dying. But I also wanted him to have, because he did have a Bortas and a Saladin, and remember these 28 ships are actually station defense ships, so I kind of wanted them to have as many of the station defense ships as possible. Anyway, I just had a hard time figuring out how to place the jelly when I was hitting with a Coronar, which is an Explorer, so it was kind of a difficult proposition in this case. So this is another Battlelog where we basically have the same crews. We just kind of juggled a few things around and switched some ships up. I said, no to the Baby Jelly because it just died too fast. And since he had a Centurion, I put the Centurion for a little bit of bonus from the 28 ships for station defense. Unfortunately, it really didn't do any difference. Essentially, this is the same result as before. He actually did a little bit worse because I had 7 million shield left, whereas before I had 6 million shield left. And you can see from a ship hit order, we put Yuki third on the list. So, he's got the Pike Harrison crew here for the shield strip. So this is supposed to die, and he'll die right away. And then second up is going to be the Carol crew, which is the kind of a buffer crew to do less weapon damage. And then third up is going to be Yuki. So I was trying to get Yuki to survive a bit longer to do more shield procs. But I think the problem here was really his inability... I think the problem here was mainly because of TOS O'Hara not proccing on a certain route. All right, so we ended up changing things up again, and here he's got the Braille on station. So we kind of gave up the Centurion because it wasn't really doing that much. And then for the Braille, the crew that we put in was Tilly Captain, and if you recall, Tilly Captain does a one-time decrease to shield health as well. So we put as much synergy as we could with Tilly. And then I think she was 25 or 30% decrease to my shields. And then we put Yuki again on the third ship to be hit. So you can see he actually did better in terms of killing my shields. I only had 3 million shield health left. My health was pretty much unchanged though. All right, so I think this was the last battle that we had against the Coronar because he just wasn't doing enough damage. And you can see here that my shields finally got fully depleted, and he did a million-ish more damage to my hull. So I'm down to 13 million hull health, and that was because we ended up moving Yuki all the way down to be the last ship to be hit, so the Augur. So with that extra round or two in there, then he was able to fully strip my shields and do a teeny tiny bit more damage. But overall, the conclusion is basically, if you're Ops 35 and you're against a fairly big G4 rare, there's not really much you can do to kind of survive a hit. Shieldings are a friend. All right, so moving forward, I tried a couple of hits with the Kelvin just to kind of show you the crews because the Coronar was just a little bit too big. I've got a tier 5 Kelvin, so without any upgrades on it. So this is something that would be a better example. Still a pretty powerful ship, G4 uncommon. I also have a lot of research on it, so 12.6, 12.7 million power at tier 5. And then, for Kung Fu Turtle, we actually ended up having to change the crews on the ships just because the ship hit order has changed since the Kelvin is an interceptor and before the Coronar was an explorer. So, first off, if you remember from the ship hit order slide, first up is going to be the lowest power battleship against the interceptors. So we've got the Bortas up first, and then the Augur, and then the neutral ship, which is going to be the Saladin, and then kind of the against triangle ship, which is last, is going to be the Braille. So here the crews we changed up to kind of a little bit. For Tilly, we went with burning here, whereas before we didn't have burning. So burning again, when it procs, does a little bit of hull damage, 1% hull damage. So here Tilly's kind of one and done, but she's got burning on here to give full synergy, as well as Saru, which does a little bit of anti-weapon damage. On the Augur, we went with Pike, Moreau, and Vetman here again is he helps a little bit against shield burn, so to kind of help burn through my shields a little bit quicker. The Saladin still has the anti-critical hit crew with TOS O'Hara Captain, and the Braille has full synergy Yuki, so she does negative 20% per turn, and then she's also got Harrison here, so he won't get 100% shield burn in round 1, but he'll eat through my shields faster, so hopefully he can still do better damage. Here's the Battlelog. You see this went on for 8 rounds, so he obviously did a little bit better. So Tilly here is proccing, negative 25%, So right off the bat, TOS Ruhara actually procced, and you can see I'm not really doing much damage with the Kelvin, whereas the Corner was hitting much harder. This will allow his Bortas to survive past round 1, hopefully. And he does survive past round 1 because, oh, that's right, it only does 2 hits. The Kelvin only does 2 hits in round 1. The Bortas gets destroyed in round 2. And the Auger's getting hit. TOS Ruhara did not proc there, and the Auger unfortunately dies in round 2. This is round 3. Yes, it's round 3. And now it's going to be the Saladin's turn. I don't kill the Saladin in round 3. I continue to hit it in round 4, and its shield gets depleted and destroyed in round 4. And round 5, we are up against the Braille. And do I destroy? No, I do not destroy the Braille in round 5 because I only get 2 weapon fires in round 5. It gets destroyed in round 6. And after that, it's just some defense platform, so it's going to be over pretty quickly. All right, so this was the last fight against Turtle with my Saladin, and you can see he actually did a lot better. He got through all my shields really quickly, and then he almost killed my ship, so I only got 1 million of hull health left. And, you know, we kind of did that by kind of changing up the crews a bit and also introducing the Baby Jelly into the picture. So here the Baby Jelly's crew is going to be Yuki, Marcus, and Zoe again. So, but with the bonus to the from the ship ability, he actually kills my shields basically by round 2. I don't have any shields and in it because Tilly here is also kind of impacting me in round 1 as well. And then for the Auger, we kind of switched to have Pike, Moreau, and Harrison for the shield ignore in round 1. So with that, let's kind of take a look at the battle log real quick. So the Officer procking in round 1 and TOS Ruhara proc, so I'm not going to get any critical hits. Then the Bordas arrives. You can see the Harrison's working right now, so I'm not actually getting any shield health damage. It's going straight to hull health. And Yuki's been procking as well. So right even in round 2, you can see I basically don't have any shield left in round 2. And he's actually, he's just doing all the damage to my hull. So this is very bad for me. The Bordas finally gets destroyed in round 2. And now I'm on to the Auger. The Auger survives round 2. So here's round 3. Round 3, I'm still not getting any critical hits, so I do not kill the Auger in round 3. It's lasting until round 4. So it finally dies in round 4. Now I hit the Jelly. Now the Jellyfish is kind of useless now since I don't have any shields anyway, so it's okay that it dies in round 4. So round 4, I'm finally getting around to hitting the Brielle. Notice again, I'm not really doing any critical hits because his TOS Ruhara is constantly proccing with TOS Kirk. And I get through round 6. This is round 7. Round 7, Brielle finally gets destroyed. And now after this, it's just a defense platform, so it'll go pretty quickly. So really, I'd say realistically, with 4 docks, you can probably expect to be able to win against a G4 uncommon. Against a G4 rare, 4 docks is probably a bit of a stretch. Even with a G3 epic in the station, it's going to be pretty hard to defend against a G4 rare or above type ships. So you know, they have Dry Dock G for sale now. If you guys can afford it, I do recommend getting an extra dry dock. I have 7 dry docks now, and I can always use more. I mean, I noticed in the visual on the station screen when you look at the station that they actually left an extra room, so maybe we'll get a dry dock H, I guess, at some point this year as well. So I'm kind of excited for that. So, you know, with the extra dry dock, it actually does a lot of different changes for defense strategy. So, you know, whereas before the maximum amount of ships and docks is going to be 6, now it's going to be 7. And we also have, you know, the DS9 arc that's coming out. So maybe the DS9 arc is going to be really focused around station defense or offense. And we'll kind of look at some officers as they roll out for those. And that's just a guess, by the way. I'm just hoping it's not going to be this lat mining type officers for the entire arc. That would probably drive me crazy. So anyway, I've been working on some other videos as well. The mitigation part of the video for Lower Decks Part 2 is taking a lot of time. So there's a lot of math involved in that, and it just please bear with me on that. So, but anyway, thank you guys for tuning in today, and I hope you're enjoying the weekend. If you're not a subscriber, please hit the subscribe button, and if you have any comments, please feel free to leave them down below. Thanks so much. Take care.